Hi everyone, this is Nelly here from SF Cryptocurrency Devs. We just had an amazing talk from Enigma, and I'm here with John to ask him a few questions. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. It was a very fun session upstairs.
Lots of questions. I have a few more for you.
Yeah.
So first question is, tell us a little bit about how you got into blockchain and how did you end up joining Enigma?
Great question. So I got into Bitcoin. Actually, I was in between my consulting gig and business school, and was working on a different startup, a mobile iOS application idea, and met this friend of mine for feedback one day who had started his own company. And then after like 40 minutes into like asking questions, like I need to say something. Do you know how Bitcoin works? And like I had some Bitcoin at the time, but like I had no idea. So like just read that. And then I read this. This was like May 14 or April 2014. And then I was like, holy shit, this is so like this was the most intellectually stimulating thing I've read. So when I started business school at MIT in 2014, I really made it a priority for me to learn more about Bitcoin, and then there was like a lot of things like going on at MIT at the time.
DCI, right?
The DCI was not formed back then, but there was the Bitcoin Club, which was run by undergrads. We had our friend Dan Elitzer.
Yep.
He was a great resource to me. And then through Media Lab, I met my current co-founder Guy, and then that's how I got involved in the scene.
So what got you really excited about the idea behind Enigma? And for those who don't know, Enigma is a protocol built on Ethereum, is a second layer protocol. And what's really cool about it, it really fulfills the promise of privacy and scale on Ethereum, and specifically for smart contracts rather than just data.
So, I met Guy, who I currently work with, in 2015, and then at the time I was like just trying to understand, wrap my head around Bitcoin. Ethereum was like, I think it was pre-Ethereum public sale. And his idea around, if you really, really simplify, it was like you're able to do machine learning on data that you don't see. And to me, like having done, in my consulting days, a lot of work that there's firewalls between organizations, and that you can share data, and it's like a pain in the back or neck or whatever. To me, like the idea was powerful beyond just like Bitcoin, right? And then like the more you think about it, it became apparent to me that to really achieve full decentralization, like the vision where everyone basically presents this as a new internet, you need to have privacy. So that's kind of like what resonated with me very early on, and that's what got me very, very excited about Enigma. I remember reading the articles on Wired in 2015. I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy for guys, he's gonna do amazing things. So it's it was a very nice twist of fate to join him as a co-founder down the road.
So what got you super excited about it? What are some of the biggest use cases that you see for the Enigma protocol?
So I think at this point we're, as you mentioned, we're working with the Ethereum ecosystem, and we're trying to enable dApp developers or projects on Ethereum to enable things to do things that they can't do on Ethereum right now due to privacy. I think I don't want to talk about what this can do in 5 to 10 years because that's too fluffy.
Yeah.
But things that excite me today is I mentioned governance. Voting is an issue, right? Votes can be bought contractually. That's a danger. Also, currently the way you hide votes is through the system called commit reveal, where you first commit the hash of your vote, and at a future time you have to reveal it. So you have to do 2 transactions to achieve one, which is not a good user experience. So things around governance in general really, really excite me because it's basically applicable to all the blockchains, and it's happening right now. I'm really excited about gaming because usually gaming, if you look at CryptoKitties, these are going to be the first use cases that actually get traction, and there are games that store certain things in Amazon Web Services, and to us, breaking those points of centralization is a big step, and I think we will be doing work around governance, enabling games over the next couple of years. I'm really excited about the idea of a privacy-preserving decentralized exchange because that way you can avoid some problems like front-running, etc. But also you could have transaction privacy, which I think is relevant. And if people may be like, oh, but that's bad, but you could still do some sort of KYC on the addresses that are allowed to transact, but still hide what they're doing. So I think there are these little improvements over the existing ecosystem. The idea of doing like federated learning, those kind of machine learning applications is very, very interesting. But I think they will come later because there's no data to do machine learning on right now on the decentralized world.
Yeah. And so you mentioned to me earlier, and we're going to dive a little deeper, that your co-founder did multi-party computation. And when I was reading up about the protocol earlier, you guys used something called TEE, Trusted Execution Environment. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is, how that guarantees security, and why you guys ended up going in this route?
Sure. I think so. Basically, there are two ways of doing this. One is software-based encryption methods. There's multi-party computation, homomorphic encryption, the zero-knowledge protocols, and then there is hardware where you basically do computations in a trusted environment where you cannot be technically tampered with. The reason why, our research has been on MPC, and it actually, I think it's one of the top 10 downloaded papers in the ecosystem or cited. Our mission is to enable true decentralization, and for that we think privacy is a big part. The reason why we chose TEs to start with is because TEs allow us to do more towards that mission in a shorter time frame. That said, we're not married to the idea of TEs. There are ways in which we're looking to use multi-party computation to make the TE-based network more robust.
So basically combine it, right? Like step one, step two.
Yes, but even with step one, you can do things like randomness generation, key management. We can do these critical portions of the network with MPC, and that's what we're doing. And eventually we're the MPC-based secret contracts, which is our smart contract, is still on the roadmap. And we're also researching ways in which we can merge research topics like bulletproof and MPC to make MPC just a more robust solution.
Totally. And so you guys just went live on Testnet?
It's been 2 months.
Okay. What can we do on it?
So right now what you can do is the current version is slightly limited compared to what we just described recently. You can write it's a developer environment, but you can write a secret contract where you can offload some functions from a solid smart contract into the Enigma network. That could be tallying results for a vote. That could be bidding in an auction, hidden bid, etc. So it's stateless computations where you can run these contracts.
But I can take an existing application, right, and then
so
leverage your protocol to make it more secure and more private.
So Aragon has a voting contract. We can run the Aragon voting contract on a simulation environment, and then we can have the tally function and the input function run on Enigma, which means no one sees what the inputs are, and then the tally is done, and then results are submitted.
That's awesome. And so for you guys, what kind of talent are you looking for? How can one participate? How can one get a job, help out, do research? What are you looking for?
We're always open to great people who are excited about what we're doing. There is a lot of smart contract development work that can facilitate what the protocol work is building, because we recently built sample secret voting contract, sample secret auction contracts. There's a lot of things.
That's all available right on.
It's all open source on our GitHub. But also we're looking for people who can come in and help on the protocol level. Hopefully in a couple of months our documentation will be at a stage where we could have open source contribution to the protocol. And then obviously cryptographers are hard to find, but we're always if MPC is an area that we're looking to hire in, if the right people come up.
For sure.
We're looking to support research in certain NPC related topics, certain zero knowledge related topics. Especially we're interested in understanding more about how bulletproofs can work with NPC to make certain things more robust when they like come into a network. I mean, I think when I look at most people we hired, they usually came through the community saying, hey, like, I'm really interested. And then they worked for a bit on a certain problem, not too long, but like, and then like it came to a point where like, okay, like we like working with you, we like working with us, let's make this formal.
Join us, awesome. So lots of opportunities to join Enigma. John, thank you so much for coming here with your team. It was super exciting to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course.
Awesome.